Hey, HR friends, welcome back. So we made it to day two. We're still in the 3-5 emotional 6.5 day sequence. Now, when we talked about this sequence yesterday, we said that this is going to be a little bit easier sequence to get through in comparison to the last few we've been through. Okay. These emotional sequences last for 6.5 days, and this 6.5 days is pretty much at a four or under a four most of the time. You can see there are a few bump ups here, but overall, in comparison to the last sequence was at a 4 and up to a 6 most of the time. Overall tension, the unseen tension or the unseen pattern of chaos is not gonna be as intense for us, okay? That's the good news here. Now you can see that in first person, there's a little bump up here in the beginning, but it just barely reaches a 4. And halfway through this sequence, we've got some third person agitation that gets up above a 4. But again, pretty vanilla compared to what's been going on here. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm actually feeling a little bit more discomfort in day two than I was in day one. And that's because when this tide changes, this is a metaphorical tide. Yesterday we hit low tide and then the water or the current starts to fill back in. And it usually takes about 36 hours to get over that jet lag feeling. What do I mean jet lag? Well, our bodies have to get used to a new direction of electromagnetic flow. And that in itself can be agitating. So even though today is relatively low as far as unseen agitations or the strength of them, it wouldn't be surprising if people are feeling a little bit off today. It's gonna take probably another 24 hours or this 24-hour period before things start to feel normal again. Now, it's worth reviewing this before we scroll down and we discuss the objective briefly. Again, this is the organized pattern of chaos. And what this does is it activates our defensive design. You see, we have a defensive fight or flight mechanism hardwired into our bodies. And when these polarity moments agitate us from the inside out, it activates that system of control, and it does it whether we want it to or not. And if you are avoiding your problems, which means you don't want to talk about your stress, or you want to imagine your stress is going to go away on its own, or if you're making more stress by arguing with people instead of coming up with conclusions or strategies or ways to connect, which eliminates your stress, these points are actually elevating your stress levels, which is just accelerating your aging, and stress is cumulative. So, depending on who you're stressed with and how long that stress lasts, it's going to affect specific parts of your body. That is what this objective is all about. So what we've done here is we've divided the body into four quadrants. And this is how the sentient space-time reality we live within is actually structured. So this tells you that if you have problems getting along with any first-person perspective, or if you're not balancing your routine equally in the third-person perspective, which quadrants of your body will not be able to be healthy. You see, we're all part of the same mathematically interconnected team. We're all born into this team, sons and daughters, and we're not born knowing that we were in a sentient space-time reality. Now, we know we're sentient beings. A sentient being is just something that can process emotions and has the mental capacity to think and make choices, and we can change our decisions or our progression to eliminate our stress. Now, the problem is we're actually designed to make mistakes and create stress. That's so we're forced to understand eventually how to eliminate it. Now, if you don't want to learn how to eliminate stress, then what happens is it just keeps accumulating again and again and again and again. And that's why everybody ends up dying. Okay. That's why death is inevitable. Now, this team focus right here, there's two parts to this space time objective. The first one is you got to get along with our team. And whether you have a family that currently exists or whether your family is your coworkers or community members, it really doesn't matter. You still have to be able to talk to them and understand who they are, share who you are, and get along without running away from responsibilities or running away from tough conversations or creating stress with them that creates more stress for all of us. Now, when you think about this interconnected team or family, the son and the daughter are just, they're the teammates. They're learning about the team and they're learning how to become team captains. Well, that's the difference between the mother and fathers. They're supposed to be the leaders of this organization. And they're supposed to be helping to keep peace and balance within this interconnected family or this interconnected team. Now, the second part of this space time reality, this mathematical construct, is the team focus. So it's one thing to get along as a team, but you can get along as a team and not have a balanced focus. You could be a family that love each other and get along and do everything, but are over investing in your own individual and family strategies. And your individual and family strategies could be competing with all the other individual and family strategies, which is creating tension at the larger community, national, and world levels. That's why it's so important that our team leaders not just keep our families together, cohesive, communicating, cooperative, but also encouraging them on how they must balance their choices so that we can leave this world a better place for future generations. The more team leaders that we have that are balancing just these two perspectives here, or over investing in certain areas, and then teaching our future teammates to do that as well, that's actually what's causing all of this division at the larger level. These frequencies are all about balancing our family and balancing our family's perspectives. Now, every individual that commits to this, they will be in perfect alignment with these frequencies, and that will allow them to slow the aging process to these quadrants of their body. And if they do this consistently and commit to this team focus and a balanced routine, they can reverse disease. Now, at the larger level, what happens is this: regions of people are overinvesting in certain strategies and underinvesting in other strategies, then we're going to see regional conflict both at the social level and in the environmental level. That's exactly what's happening here. So, because we have these disconnected communities and disconnected beliefs, and we're not organizing as a team, we are destroying our environment. We are destroying our communities by creating stress. Now, that stress is then amplifying our defensive design, which is accelerating all of these unfortunate events, tragedies, and these weather events that are starting to consume our world, our nations, our communities. Now, this is super simple to understand, okay? It's easy to understand this, but it's hard to do it. Why? Because we didn't know there was a organized pattern of chaos trying to teach us by making us make mistakes so that we couldn't avoid these mistakes. And that's what we've gotten to here. We've gotten to a place where we're going to have to address our weather concerns here pretty soon. This cannot continue to be ignored. Now, in order for this to get better, we need more than one or two people that are committed to becoming healthy. We need regions of people that are willing to do this, not only because it helps them slow the aging process, not only because it helps them deter the likelihood of them having future states of unpleasant disease, but because if we do it together, we can actually start to heal at the larger level as well. All right, so that's a pretty good way to explain this for today. I try this a little bit different each day. It's always the same message. We're trying to connect to as many people as we can because we don't want to just empower one or two people to get healthy. Because in truth, it's hard. It's hard to get healthy if everyone else doesn't want to be healthy with you. This is why it's so important to spread this awareness about how this construct we exist in works. All right. Let's get down here. We're going to talk about day two zoomed in. Now, the good news is this: we're in day two. The current is going to start to acclimate, meaning our bodies are going to get used to it within this 24-hour period. And the elevation of these electromagnetic agitations are at a four or below a four pretty much all day long, which is great. In the first 12 hours in the beginning here, we've got some polarity in the first person. That's going to be your general sphere of people, the people that you're in your relationships with day in and day out. This in the second 12 hours is a spike in the third person polarity moments. This has to do with philosophical belief, okay? So I imagine there's going to be some news events or some things happening at the larger level. Don't overinvest in this. And definitely don't allow this to come back into your first person realm. Stress is cumulative. That's why we show this as combined. If you get stressed at home, it's hard not to get even more upset when you see the big picture something happen you didn't want to happen, and vice versa. That's why it's so important to know when these moments are coming. Now, what we've done for you here is we've got all 24 time zone offsets, and I do these images for people that don't have good internet all day long. So you got to find your time zone offset. To do that, you just come down here, hunt and peck until you get the right time zone. Then it holds for 10 seconds, screenshot it. That aligns these times so that you can see exactly where these peaks are. If you've got good internet, just go to our homepage. We have a live feed. It's universal time. It's got a time bar that runs through this. And anytime you start to feel agitated, you want to argue, or someone around you is doing that, pull it out and reference it. You're going to see that we're at or close to a peak. This is activating our defensive design. We just didn't know it. That's how important this awareness is. That's how critical it is to use this technology on a daily basis. It can literally help you eliminate all the stress in your life. The more stress you eliminate, the better you'll feel, the healthier you'll be, and there's a reward for this too. We talk about that on our website. Make sure you check that out. You pass this space-time objective. You do this hard challenge and you achieve it. You commit to your team. You commit to balanced routine. You get out of this negative feedback loop and you get to transition into a positive feedback loop. Check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, so we're going to briefly talk about alignments today. There's only a couple alignments, which is the next part of the good news. Alignments are amplified moments in time, and they are testing us in specific parts of relationship. And today we're being tested in first-person relationships. So we're being tested with how we get along with our team members. And this also means we don't just have to get along with them. We have to be able to communicate with these team members about the objective, about balancing, and that can be tough. Because if somebody is unbalanced and they're investing too much time in a certain area, it's because they're really kind of interested in that. And to tell somebody that they should do less of what they're interested in and make sure they're diversifying their routine, that's going to probably lead to a difficult conversation. So just be aware. First person isn't just about getting along with somebody and ignoring what they're doing. It's about getting along with somebody and being able to talk to them about their routines, your routines, and what needs to happen for everyone to kind of be on the same page and working together. Now, this first alignment we're going to talk about is the EP. It's a 3-hour alignment. It's going to affect the left lower quadrant. So if you're having problems balancing this specific relationship during this period of time, expect amplification of your symptoms or noticeable events that are unpleasant, and it's going to affect the lower left quadrant. The other alignment we're going to talk about today is this ME. Now, this is kind of a strong alignment, and these are tougher colors. These are leadership colors. These are exactly what I was just talking about. This is being able to talk to other people about their routines and if their routines are unbalanced and how that's not only affecting, the people in their life when they overinvest in certain areas, but in the bigger picture, how that's going to affect the national and world perspective if we're all being unbalanced in our approach. Now, this is going to affect the upper quadrants of the body. So if you happen to have sinus issues, sight issues, hearing issues, memory problems, headaches during this time, direct hit, it's telling you you really got to work on not only getting along and with other leaders, but figuring out how to be a better leader yourself and how to make sure when you're leading people to balance choices, not encouraging them to be unbalanced. That's what this is all about. All right. Pretty good stuff there. Let's move down. We're going to keep moving here. So now we're going to talk about where the strongest frequencies are going to be parked in this 24-hour sequence. Now, we only put 10 on here. These are the 10 strongest, and you can see it's kind of unbalanced again today. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going on the left side, which means we've got 4 going on the right side. So a little bit heavier to the left, and we've got 4 on the top, and we've got 6 on the bottom. So a little bit heavier on the bottom. What does that mean? Well, I expect that people are going to feel more going on in their lower quadrants today, and it's likely they're going to feel more on their left lower quadrant than on their right lower quadrant. Does that mean they can't have upper stuff today? No. We've got an alignment up here. It's not too strong, and these are the harder colors. These are leadership colors, and we have some issues with leadership right now. We might have some good leaders, but the leaders we need can't be leading unbalanced approaches. We need leaders that are willing to lead completely balanced approaches to get things back in a place where things are going to get better for us and future generations. All right, as far as testing sequence goes, this is just telling you when the frequencies are going to be testing your body and how many during this 24-hour period. 4 is when we get concerned. And you can see in the first 24 hours, the left upper quadrant is below a 4, and in the second 12 hours, it gets up to a 4. In the right upper quadrant, we pretty much dance around that 4 or by that 4 the entire sequence. Same thing in the left lower quadrant. And in the right lower quadrant, it's the opposite as it was in the left upper. Okay. We got at a 4 for the first 12 hours, and then it drops down here. Now, this is just to help you understand why certain parts of your body might tighten or loosen during the course of the day, or why you're going to feel them more. The more frequencies that are testing you, and if you're out of balance with these relationships, these teammates, or if you're out of balance with these perspectives, that's what you're feeling. You're feeling that increased load, and it's going to definitely be noticeable for people that are out of balance. All right, so that's pretty good here for today as far as what to expect in this 24-hour period. Now, just the brief talk about the guides we've got posted here. As always, I say this at the end. We've got the entire rest of 2024 posted. These are all the electromagnetics, all the unseen agitations that are coming. If you're going to be traveling, if you're going to be in big groups of people, you'd want to know when this is going to happen. These are the times where chaos is going to really start to rear its head and where things are going to get a little bit difficult for all of us. This is affecting us within the structures of our family, within our communities, within our nation, the whole world. Everybody's experiencing this together. Okay. This space-time reality is all about interacting together as an interconnected team and working together to balance the entire world. We can't just have one nation balance. We can't just have one community within that nation balance. We need to spread this message everywhere. And in order to help and empower as many as possible, the first part is this. You got to know when chaos is coming. You got to know when this unseen pattern is manipulating us. And that's it. That's a good place to end this one today. We'll talk to you later.